Vicky Schettini here, and I am so excited to bring you Sue Henry today. She is amazing. So, I always talk a little bit right before doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Not with this lady. We talked a long time, and I'm really, really excited to share what she has to say. So thank you so much for coming to the show. I'm really excited that you're here.
Well, thank you so much, Vicky. And it was really fun because this is the first time we met. And when I hopped on and we started talking, within seconds, it was like we were long lost sisters. We just hadn't met yet. And how awesome is that?
Isn't that amazing? I mean, we just, like, everything she was saying, we just really just connected. So that shows you, women, boss ladies that are out there, come on, we women can move mountains together. So I always say, there's no competition. We help each other and just move mountains. And I'm getting chills. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I have chills already. So tell us, what is it that you do? Because I'm really, really excited for everybody to hear.
What I do is I teach women, not so much men, mostly women, how to speak as a way to grow their influence, grow their network, and grow their bank account without pitch slapping the audience. And it doesn't matter whether you're doing it on a stage or a platform in front of a large group, whether you're doing it as a podcast, whether you're having your own event or you're a guest interviewee or any of those things. The process is still the same. And that's where the magic happens.
I love this part, what she's saying. So I was talking to her before, and all you guys know that I have my own events, and myself, I've gotten criticized from different people on I give too much information out. But after talking to her, I feel so much better because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doing this wrong. Even though that's the information I want to give out, she really kind of made it okay. So tell us more, if someone would be interested in becoming a speaker. And one of the things I think as women, we all have something that we are good at. There's one thing at least that you are really exceptional at, that you have, or a scenario that you have gone through, and that's your message. That's your message to get out there to other people that are going through it at the moment. So if someone may have a message to say, what would be the first thing that you would be telling them?
I think be true to yourself and don't underestimate your own story. There may be other people who do what you do, but it's your story and how you processed everything and brought it together that's going to resonate with those people who aren't hearing what the other people say. They'll only hear and resonate with your message. So it's really easy to let our own insecurities and our own, oh my gosh, I'm not a size 2. I don't have well-toned arms. I can't stand there in this sleeveless dress like you see on TEDx or a lot of these other. I'm not a size 2. I can't wear stilettos. I mean, all of these things, and we get so busy into our own head. And I think that when we really truly tap into our own story, and the power, our story is what allows us to grab that cape and become a superhero. And that's when we can stand in our own power, and we become so focused on serving that we forget about ourselves. Yeah, we'll be scared beforehand. We'll be, and our knees might turn to jelly afterward. But it still happens. I mean, I got to be honest with you. So when I was in high school, I'm old, and I was in high school, and there was a speaker who came in, and he was so good at his storytelling that even the 8th grade boys on the bleachers were quiet. And that was saying something. And I knew in that moment I wanted to be a speaker. I mean, I didn't know how, I didn't know where. I had no idea of a message. I was in high school. I didn't know squat. But I knew I wanted to be able to have that kind of influence over people because I saw the impact he was having. And so I tried out for the school play, and it went really well. And then the night of the performance, I froze and I got scared and I couldn't remember any of my lines. And then when I was a senior high school, after that summer, I was one of 6 people chosen to go to the Biltmore Hotel in California and and share some findings from on a big stage I was part of this group that came up with these findings. And I'm this girl from a town of 2,000 people in Minnesota. You know, we live on a farm. I'm going to Los Angeles, California, and and um, and I was so excited, and I had on the prettiest mini skirt a person could ever find, and they lined up the chairs on the side so that they could of the stage, so they would have us sit there, and then they were going to take our picture so it would show all the audience in the background. Well, Grace has never been my middle name, and so when I sat on the chair, I sat just a little bit too hard, and it slid the back legs off, and so I went butt over head off of the stage. And the only thing, and so they're coming up saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And of course, I was mortified, and the only thing I could think of to say was, "Did my underwear show?" Well, of course it did. It was a mini skirt, you know. And it took 20 years before I got back on a stage again. And that was that, you know,
Hilarious.
it took that long before my passion became greater than my fear. So understand that we all go through seasons in life. And what speaking does is it allows us to bring some of those stories together, have a laugh with other people, and then show that, wait a minute, I overcame some of these same insecurities, these same issues, but look what happened that when I did it in spite of my fears, not because I removed my fears.
I love that you said that. I had a student at one point said, Vicky, I wanted you to be my mentor because you're a woman. And I always wonder, are they going to like me? Are they going to think I'm not dumb? She was an engineer. She was not dumb by all means. But
Yes.
she had the same insecurities. And when she said that, I thought, oh my gosh, I've had those fears. And I used to be in college so bad that I couldn't even walk from my car to the building without thinking everybody was staring at me.
Really?
Yes, I mean, it took me a while to become the person that I am now, but I always thought it was just me until 2 years ago when this student of mine said this to me. I thought, oh my gosh, do all women have this? And it was always struggle with my weight, all the same things you just said it, and it just kind of brought back that realization moment of when she said it. We've all dealt with it. Just because we got past it doesn't mean that we didn't deal with it at one point. I think that's a great message to tell.
And I don't know as though you ever get over it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
speaking at an event in the end of July in Florida, and I sit there and I look in the mirror and I think I should really drop like 3 million pounds, you know. But I mean, before I go, and then I go to the kitchen and I make something to eat. I mean, but I mean,
No wonder we're friends. We're going to be best friends.
but I think that the key isn't that we don't have things holding us back. I think the key is that we're doing it in spite of having those things hold us back and our own insecurities. And when you truly tap into who you are and how you can serve, and you have that servant mindset, I don't mean you're a doormat, but you have that servant mindset, you truly can get out of your own way, where when you're in that moment, you were truly impacting somebody else's life. And I think that's what we are all called to do in our own personal way.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So those of you who are out there, this is a perfect timing because I mean we're homebound.
Yeah.
And you might have to do some little soul searching and figure out exactly what are you passionate about? What is it that you're good? But this is a great message. I mean, you guys can see she's amazing. I think
Thank you.
you will not go wrong. So so someone that's interested, let's say they do the soul searching, they may have an idea. What if they know they want to help people, but they need some direction? How can you help them?
I think that I have a free 30-minute strategy call, and it's not a 30-minute where I'm trying to sell something. And I have a lot of people take me up on this where we'll talk about, where they're at. I ask a lot of questions, and then I'll give at about minute 25 into the 30-minute call, I'll share 3 to 4 ideas based on where they are at, because I can't go in there and just say, oh, you should do this if I don't have a conversation with them. So this is all tailored to them. And then the big thing, and then I'll ask them, does that resonate with you? Does that make sense? So at minute 29, my big sales question is, do you want my help with any of this? That's it. And then they can either say, yes, I'd like to know more, or no, I'm good. And I'm okay either way, because if I can share a little bit of information that without being overwhelming, where I can steer them in the right direction as they're along their journey, that makes my heart happy, and I think that's a good thing. So I think, some people, if you're afraid to start speaking but you want to get your message out there, maybe you're one of those who, instead of doing all the direct messaging and putting your message one person at a time and sounding all spammy, maybe podcasts would be the place to start. Maybe if you've got friends who are in business, having them interview you, so you're doing this little private thing, maybe that would be a way to get started. You don't have to, and chances are you're not going to, if you're getting started, you're not going to be asked to speak on a stage with 6,000 people anyway. I mean, that's not where it's at. So I think more important than where you speak is your message and the audience. When you choose your audience with care, because not all audiences are created equal, that's going to set you up for success, because in spite of your in spite of maybe you're not as eloquent as maybe somebody else is, despite of maybe stumbling over your story a little bit, their hearts are still going to be touched, and that's, I believe, what we want.
I agree with you too. I fully agree. And you're right. You are not going to um, connect with everybody.
Right.
There's somebody that I connect that you don't connect, and vice versa. There's someone that you connect, because we're all different. And once you do fine tune who your target audience is that you will be able to help, that's huge, huge. And I think that's great that you do that. I mean, 30 minutes is a lot to do, especially if you've never done it before. It just kind of helps out put things in perspective and in places. I call them basket. Okay, that makes sense. That goes into this basket. So
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that you do that.
Well, thank you.
I
It's been a fun journey.
love it. So if someone out there wants to get a hold of you and do this 30-minute, how would they be? What is the steps now going forward?
I think the best step was if they would like to learn more about speaking. And again, it's whether you speak, on your lives on Facebook, or you want to get in front of the lights, in the big arenas, whatever it is, you have to start at the beginning. And that's where we all started. So the best thing would probably be just to send me an email, Sue@SueHenryTalks.com. And then just say that you heard this on the show and ask me for the link. Offhand, I don't remember what the link is, so it's just going to be easier to email me, and then I'll send you the link, and it's got the times that I'm available, and that way you can go ahead, you can sign up, and I promise you, you will walk away from that 30 minutes with 3 to 4 things that you can implement right away on your own. And I promise you that if you're anything like all the other people that have taken me up on this, you're going to walk a little bit taller. It's going to be like you're, 6 feet tall and bulletproof, and and that's what you want. You need that armor to go out there, to have the courage to start speaking and start impacting those lives. And once you build upon that a little bit, and Vicky and I were talking about the light bulb moments, and how
Yes.
you become addicted to the light bulb moments that these people are having when you're sharing things. And once you have a few of those light bulb moments, when you recognize it, oh my gosh, I really made a difference, all of a sudden it's easier to get out of your own way, and to
Yes.
continue building that.
It's very addicting when you see someone realize, and I mean, it's like a drug. I call it that light bulb
Yeah.
moment is a drug.
Yeah.
One of the other things is, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned something about the ultimate. Um, you have
The
that
what?
the ultimate, it was like the free
Oh,
book.
so what I have is, we were going to kind of talk about, so when you speak, I don't care whether it's a podcast or whether you're speaking, if you're speaking for 30 minutes or less, you want to only cover 3 points. But in those 3 points, you want to go deeper into stories and share those stories, because that's what, emotion is what drives us. Emotion is what compels us to take action. Facts do not. They support the action we took, but they won't move us to take action. Okay. So we want to talk about 3 things. Bring in good, compelling stories that your audience will relate to. And I think that in a story, I think of a spoon. So when you want the story, you want to be digging into the rib cage, talking about that pain of your prospects. And then when you talk about the solution, you remove the spoon, but it's still pretty dang sensitive to the touch. But then when you start talking about the happily ever after, and this is what a lot of people forget, the happily ever after is, what do they want as a result of this problem to be solved? Now all of a sudden, that's the ice pack that goes, you get that relief. And so sticking to 3 things, and then having a lead magnet that is cohesive and cohesive is the best word, I guess, that is cohesive with what you talked about, so that your lead magnet should have 10 to 15 points on it. But these are what's, not how. So it shouldn't be any longer than 2 pages. Now, all of a sudden, you've taken 3 of those. That's what you're talking in depth about. Now you've still got all these other ones that in your email sequence, when people opt in to get this free report, they've already seen the value. They felt the value, and now they're going to opt in. So now you've got all of these additional points. You already know the person's interested. Now you've got something for all your emails. Each email could be 1 point where you go deeper into it. Each one could be a blog post. Each one could be a YouTube video. Each one could be a Facebook Live, Instagram story, all of those other kinds of things. But the key is, when you're speaking then, is how do you get people to opt in? Putting up a link on a PowerPoint does not do it. Just saying, oh, text this number does not do it. So what I've got is that after our call, remind me, and I'll send this to you. It's free, and it's what I call the ultimate audience handout for speakers. And with that sheet, you should get, if you're speaking in front of the right audience, 70 to 80% of the people should opt in for your free lead magnet. Those are the people on your list. Now, what this does is it shows you exactly, I lay out exactly what you want this one piece of paper to look like, and why each thing is in a specific order, and then where the tear sheet is and what you want them to do with the bottom part. You can also use this, a lot of my clients have used this to get spin-off speaking gigs as well, plus plus getting free strategy session appointments. So it's a really powerful tool for growing your business. And again, everything works together so that nothing seems weird. And if they like the one, it's just the natural, logical, sequential order to it. And it works. I mean, my system is predictable. It's a system that works. It is something that's going to continue to deliver results for you, regardless of where you're speaking, because of its predictability. And isn't that what you want? Yeah.
That's it. I love it. I love it. If you guys haven't experienced the light bulb moment, when we were saying this, is when someone in the audience gets it, what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's just the best feeling ever. So definitely, yes, send that over to me, and then we'll put the link also when we air this, so then that way everybody will be able to have it, because I think it's huge. This lady is amazing. She's full of knowledge, and I wish I would have known her when I first started up, because trust and believe did a lot of things wrong. So amazing. Thank you so much for coming. And you're going to be sending the information. Can you repeat that email where they can contact you? And then we'll also put the link below.
Sure. Sue at SueHenryTalks.com.
Perfect. That's an easy one. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and we're going to keep talking.
I am so excited, and thank you so much, Vicky. I look forward to getting to know you a lot better, and because I think, like I said, I think we're like you know, sisters from a different mister or something. It's pretty
Yes,
cool.
yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.